everyone, welcome back. I'm Annette from Ask Me Decor. Thanks for joining me today. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you could join us. Well, it's that time of year. It's fall. Well, it's almost fall. There's going to be a series. So we're going to do about 4 or 5 videos that are going to be all about getting the house ready for fall. And I'm going to start right here in this kitchen. Did you ever just want to wrap yourself in a very cozy flannel shirt and enjoy the season with maybe a nice cup of hot chocolate or apple cider or a hot cup of coffee, pumpkin latte, of course? Well, that is exactly what I decided to do to the kitchen. So you've heard me talk about inspiration. Webster's dictionary says that inspiration means the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something. In my case, to do something creative. So I find so many different ways to be inspired. You can do this too. It's very easy. You can take a color or a book or a piece of fabric or one decorative item, and that can be your inspiration for your whole room, your whole house. The process of being inspired is only limited by your own imagination. I find many ways to employ inspiration into my decorating. I'm going to take you through the process I went through to figure out what was going to inspire me to decorate the kitchen and get it ready for fall. So I decided to go to Hobby Lobby and just walk around. Now, if you watched a previous video, you saw me go through my fall decorations and try to come up with a theme. I like to have a theme because it keeps me on track. It keeps me following the same idea to make everything feel cohesive and well planned out. It just makes me feel better to have a theme and a plan. And I decided that I was going to let nature inspire me this year. I really wanted to see what I could come up with using some more natural colors, not the bright oranges and the bright reds. Nothing wrong with those. I mean, they're great. I use those a lot in my fall decorating. But this year I wanted something a little more of the natural tones, the moodier tones. So I decided to take a walk through Hobby Lobby and see if I could get some inspiration there. This is what I found. I found this fabric, and it is flannel. I found myself in the fabric aisle falling in love with this fabric. I just loved the color combination here. So I decided that this flannel was going to be my inspiration. So like I said before, did you ever just want to take a flannel shirt and put it on and get all cozy, make yourself a pumpkin latte, and enjoy a little bit of the fall wonders? Well, I decided to wrap my kitchen in flannel. This is stitch witchery. So let me explain. As luck would have it, my sewing machine decided to break right when I was getting ready to sew these curtains. So I had to go to a second plan, and that was to use stitch witchery. It's like a roll of tape, but it actually is a fabric glue. You iron it down on your seams, and it works pretty good. So there you can see how nice and flat that seam came. Now I would have preferred to sew these curtains, but the stitch witchery was a good backup plan. I made 2 cafe style panels for the window above the sink, and then I got going on the valances for the patio door. I wanted to put pleats in those valances, so I had to measure them out and make sure that my patterns were equal on each valance. I want them to be identical when they hang on the 2 doors. So measuring them, then pinning them, marking them exactly so that they would come out perfectly when they're hanging on the door. I mark them with pins, and then I get going with that stitch witchery again, making sure I glue down every seam and every side of those valances, and now it's time to put that Velcro strip on the back. Now, you've seen me do this before. I keep Velcro stuck to the patio door, and then I put the other half of the Velcro on the valance, and I can hang them up and change them for every season. I really enjoy doing that. It gives a little bit of color, fabric, texture to a place where normally there wouldn't be any. And look at how great they come out. I hang the cafe panels on a tension rod. Now I did think about getting those little curtain hooks, but I didn't have any and I wanted to get this done, so I hung them on the tension rod and I think they look adorable. And there you have it, my inspiration for this entire kitchen. I love those colors. I love the texture of the flannel. This is going to be a great looking fall kitchen. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know I have this nice little coffee and tea station set up on my counter. Now, I do not have a lot of counter space, just enough to set up this little area. And I'll tell you, through the years, I used to try to do more things here, put all kind of stuff, decorate. I found that I wanted to simplify it. I wanted to have 2 canisters, tea and coffee. And these are old-fashioned jars that I got from my mother-in-law, and I just painted these lids black. Then we have a Keurig over here to make my husband's coffee, and we have a nice little tea kettle for me because I am a tea drinker. Now, for the fall, I decided to put some fall mugs out. These are great. They have like a little bit of a speckled look on the top and a beautiful fall burnt orange color, and on the sides it says blessed. Now I will change these out for different seasons. I have ones for spring, for winter, for Christmas. Change them out, give it a little bit more of a decorative look here, but I just sit them here like this, one for him, one for me. That's all we need. We use sweetener. So for my sweetener, I had this adorable little glass pumpkin and it was clear. So what I did was I just painted it white, and I painted the bottom with that same burnt orange color and did a little bit of a speckling look with some brown paint on it. And voila, it matches our mugs, basically. I got a little bit more wild with my speckles than they did on the mugs, but I think that's a pretty good match. And I have this little piece of pottery. It's a tea bag holder. And I'll sit that right there. And as we go through the kitchen, you're gonna see more of that pottery. Now, I usually put a picture here, and I decided to change this out for fall. So I found this picture in a thrift store. I think I paid $2.99 for it. It's a picture of grouse, which is actually the state bird of Pennsylvania, if you want to know that. And remember our flannel fabric that had the green in it? Well, look at going around this picture is a green border around these grouse. So this picture adds the perfect touch of fall to the coffee tea area. And I also want to mention the basket you're seeing that I have the tea and the coffee canisters in is a thrifted item. Next up is my hard-working corner. This is right alongside of my stove, and this is where I prep food. So I have a cutting board, a glass cutting board on here, and I have, my knives and things that are easily accessible, my utensils for cooking, everything's right here. This is the hard-working corner of this kitchen. But let me show you what I've added. Here is more of that pottery. This piece is for hand soap, and I also bought a set of mugs to match. Now, I know I have my burnt orange color mugs. They're the heavy-duty use mugs. These are the pretty mugs. Maybe Sunday morning. Maybe when we're not going to go outside with them. These are gorgeous, and they're real pottery, made in Pennsylvania. And I am not going to let anything happen to these, and I absolutely love the way they look in this kitchen for fall. The other side of the stove gets a few cutting boards, a thrifted pumpkin, my little spoon rest, and a nice lamp that coordinates the color black with the rest of the kitchen. A peek inside the pantry reveals more of our fall theme. There's another one of those painted pumpkins and some other fall items that are giving the pantry the same feeling as the rest of the kitchen. Then there's the pass-through area. I always do this area seasonally. This is one of those beautiful wreaths that are made out of wood. This is all wood. It's like shaved wood, and they kind of make it into flowers. I've seen these before. I've seen them in, I think I saw them in Home Depot. I think I saw them in Michael's. They were very expensive. And, you know, I debated. I almost bought one. A couple times I almost bought one, and I wasn't sure about it. And then I found this one in a thrift store for $2, and I thought, all right, now I'm sure that one's mine. And look at that color. That's perfect for what I'm doing in this room for fall with the curtains and a little bit of tan and brown in those curtains. This is matching perfectly for me. So this is another item that we're going to put on the pass-through area. And there's yet another thrifted item, that beautiful fall picture. The door in the kitchen gets two pumpkins I painted with a mustard yellow and then covered them with that antiquing wax, some magnolia leaves, some sticks from my backyard, and those little seed pods are from my bee balm. So again, sticking with the theme of nature. And let's talk about my island. Here is a great place to make a statement for the season you're in. This vase right here was a video I did. This was a $2 vase, $2.99 I think it was, from a thrift store. It was like a gold color clear glass, and I transformed it into this black pottery look. You heard me talk about the natural items, walking through the woods, picking out, you know, dried things, dried flower heads and seeds and grasses, and incorporating that into decor. Well, here I decided to pick some oak leaves. I picked them green, and I'm liking the green right now because I have the green in that flannel that I made the curtains with, and there's green in the trim around the picture. There's a lot of green going on. It may not particularly be a fall color per se, but there are still green leaves out there. So to me, it's making sense and it's working. I might, if these leaves get too dry and too crackly and start falling apart, I might replace them with, ones that have turned already, ones that are more of a brown or an orange, like a burnt orange kind of look might work in here. We'll see. But for now, I love the green, and I'm going to keep it green. In addition to that, I want to show you these pumpkins. I had a whole bunch of plastic pumpkins. Probably we all do, right? Like a whole container full. I didn't really want the plasticky orange look going on with my pumpkins this year. So this is what I did. I took them all and I painted them. And this color was called nutmeg. I painted a bunch of my pumpkins with the nutmeg, and then I took some of my dark antiquing wax, rubbed it on there, and what it did was it gave it this nice look. It actually rubbed some of the paint off, which made this like really interesting look. It looks like pumpkin skin. And then I pulled the stems out of all of them, and I got sticks from my yard, and I put the sticks in. So I have some great looking pumpkins to put around, and I'm happier with the way they look. I feel like it matches the kitchen. It's more of those moody colors, looking great for this year's theme. want you to take a look at what I have in that black vase. Along with the green leaves, I have some seed pods from my bee balm, just like on the door, and I also have some seed heads from my astilbe. Here we go again with that theme of nature, collecting things from nature and adding them to the fall decor. Okay, and what do you think of this little area? This is a very large antique butter churner. I have this for years, and it is so fun to decorate this. I keep it in this corner of the kitchen, usually, most of the time, this is where it is, and I change it up. Now, for fall, I took more of those beautiful green oak leaves, and I added some birch branches. These are allium seed pods. So when the allium are done blooming, they go to seed and they leave these beautiful firecracker shapes that are filled with seeds, and they are just so pretty. The seeds are black. You can still see some of the seeds in them. To me, this is perfect. It's from my garden. It's very fall looking. I am thrilled with this. And last but not least, you've got to do something to your table. So I kept my neutral color placemats with a little bit of a black stripe in them. It coordinates with all the other black things in the kitchen. And then I got out my black wire basket, which has a rolling pin handle. Adorable, right? And again, I added some of the pumpkins that I painted and another piece of that pottery that I recently purchased at a festival. And right now I just have some of my white lavender that I picked from the garden and some of my sedum that hasn't really bloomed yet, but I'm loving the green look of that in here, and I think that's just the perfect addition, and I just have it sitting on top of a wooden cutting board. So that's it for the table area, and it's perfect because it's not real big and we can move it when we eat at this area. And now it's time to light a candle, sit back, and enjoy my beautiful fall kitchen, which was lovingly inspired by a piece of flannel fabric and all the items I took from nature.
Beneath the shadows of this quiet town, I see you there, your feathers on the ground. Your eyes are heavy with the weight of the world, what's in a life you never could offer. Even if you've never flown before, you can take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down, down, down. You can still take flight, although you're earthbound. To rise above these crowds, stuck in the dust of the life that you found, with nowhere to go, no higher ground. Even if you've never flown before, you can take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down, down, down. You can still take flight, although you're earthbound. you're earthbound. You're earthbound.
That's gonna do it for our flannel fabric inspired kitchen this year for fall. I'm gonna enjoy this kitchen throughout the entire season. And I really hope you got some inspiration and you can do the same thing to your kitchen. So now would be a great time to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, just ask me. And I can't wait to see you in the next video.